Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Elizabeth Doroba. A woman rescued from her burning residence on Tuesday has succumbed to her injuries. According to officials, Rebecca Kowalski was trapped in her home on Payne Avenue in Kingston when firefighters responded to the scene on Tuesday morning. Crews were able to remove Kowalski from the structure, but she later succumbed to her injuries after being transported to the hospital. Kowalski's family has started a GoFundMe page to help pay for funeral costs and for the family to relocate after the fire. To donate, you can visit GoFundMe.com and search for Support Emily's Family, Rebuild and Recover. 2 other people from the apartment building have also been displaced and are being assisted by the American Red Cross. Ryan and Isabel Vincent of Plymouth are facing charges after police say their child was found naked and covered in human feces. According to Plymouth Borough Police, officers were dispatched to the area of Barnes Street Park on Saturday, June 21st, for reports of a naked juvenile walking around alone. Upon arriving at the scene, police confirmed that the child was alone, naked, and covered in dried human feces. Police say the child's parents, Ryan and Isabel Vincent, were located at their residence in the 200 block of Orchard Street, which officers described as having a strong odor of extreme filth. According to police, the residence was littered with dried human feces, half-eaten food, dirty clothes, trash, and broken items. The parents were taken into custody and have been charged with child endangerment. Their bail was set at $50,000, and the residence has been condemned and declared unfit for human habitation. The Rockin' the Mountain concert series is returning to Hazleton this Friday. The concert series will kick off at City View Park at 6:00 p.m. with the Garth Brooks tribute, Key of G Live, and the opening act, Almost Infamous. The concert series will then continue on Friday, July 4th, with the Journey tribute band Idle Kings and the opening act, Speedwagon Tribute. Each night, the gates will open at 5:00 p.m., with the opening act starting at 6:00 p.m. and the headliner beginning at 7:30 p.m. A variety of food trucks and vendors will also be on site during the event, with a variety of concessions and adult beverages. No outside alcohol is permitted. City View Park is located at 700 South Poplar Street in Hazleton. Coming up on WYLN News, Hazleton City Police report an uptick in noise complaints. Plus, a bill to require cursive instruction in schools is approved by the Pennsylvania House. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network and Jefferson Health. Investing in your well-being and building healthier communities because more expertise and convenient care mean better outcomes and a healthier you. Learn more at lvhn.org/Jefferson.
My name is Andy, and tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
WYLN TV 35 is expanding and is on the hunt for a dynamic salesperson to join our vibrant team. If you've got the passion and the drive, we want to hear from you. Send your resume to the email displayed on your screen. Don't miss this great opportunity.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. Hey, did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Welcome back to WYLN News. As hot temperatures continue to sweep the area, Hazleton City Police are reporting a spike in noise complaints. Hazleton Police are reminding residents that city ordinances regarding excessive noises include vehicles on the road and noises at the home. Under city ordinances, noise is regarded as disturbing, excessive, offensive, or as a public nuisance may be subject to legal consequences. For additional information regarding the ordinance, you can visit the Hazleton City Police Crime Watch page. A bill to require cursive handwriting instruction in Pennsylvania schools has been approved by the State House of Representatives. In a press release on Tuesday, the bill's sponsor, PA State Representative Dane Watrow, said that at least 24 other states require cursive instruction in schools. Watrow said cursive is important because it supports fine motor development and dexterity, allows students to read historical documents, and teaches students how to sign their own name on checks or legal documents. The bill was approved by the State House of Representatives on Tuesday by a vote of 195 to 8. The legislation will now move to the State Senate for consideration. The Hazleton Art League has released information regarding an upcoming artist showcase. The showcase will feature the art of Laura Knorr, a Pennsylvania-born illustrator of children's books. Knorr is known for her work in illustrating children's books such as K is for Keystone and Zero Zilch Nada, Counting to None. The gallery opening will take place on Friday, June 27th from 5 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. The exhibit will then remain at the Art League for public viewing through July 27th. During the gallery opening, guests will have the opportunity to enter to win a floral arrangement by the Hazleton Area Garden Club. Knorr's works will also be available for purchase. Gallery hours are from 10 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. on Tuesday through Friday, and from 10 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Admission is free. For more information about the event, you can visit hazletonartleague.org. Coming up on Sugarloaf's News Choice, we learn more about dementia on this week's segment of Wellness Wednesday. Plus, Chris Fulmer leads us down the path through history with Sunbury Part 3. And stay right here on WYLN. We'll be right back.
Valley Health Network is now proudly part of Jefferson Health. And when two healthcare leaders come together for the community, you can expect more. More locations, more clinical trials, more breakthrough treatments. Jefferson Health and Lehigh Valley Health Network. Together for the future of care.
If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cheers Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazleton, 570-454-7229. Cheers is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractor, we're going to talk about why pregnant girls should be under chiropractic care, and the infant, how the birth process could be traumatizing. If I had a dream, every new baby would get a chiropractic analysis to see if the spine is in alignment. So stay tuned for a great show.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman. Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30. Attention WYLN viewers, WYLN TV can now be seen on the Hazleton Service Electric Cablevision HD tier, channel 507, and over the air at 35.1. WYLN, we're your local network.
Hi, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Lisa Marie, and if you recall last episode on Wellness Wednesday, I was with Dr. Philip Benyo, who I am with again, who resides his practice right here at LVPG Geriatric and Internal Medicine right in Brook Hill Square in Sugarloaf. So we are back and we are going to continue our conversation about dementia. The one thing we talked about earlier on are the different types of dementias that are out there and different things that we could maybe eliminate, or how to discover if it truly is a dementia type, or is it contributing to maybe too many medications, or anything else that could be there. So let's talk about, we discover that someone is having some type of dementia, whether it be vascular, an Alzheimer's type, and the loved ones need to take care of this person. What are some of the steps they need to take, and how do they react, and how do they deal with it? I mean,
well, in our chapter of medical books, there's a chapter called caregiver stress. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing, because a person with a dementing illness may actually bury the caregiver, because they will graduate to almost 24/7 nursing home care, recurrent falls, incontinence, behavioral issues. It's a nightmare for someone who's elderly and alone to care for someone with a dementing illness. Part of the problem is when you have a dementing illness, we then have to take away your driver's license. And guess what? That responsibility then falls on their spouse, which again augments and magnifies caregiver stress. So getting some help and fastening your seatbelts is one of the things that we tell patients and patients' families. And the problem gets accentuated because when you look around, most families are kind of spread out in terms of where's their sons and daughters. They're no longer around here. And so getting some help is crucial. Avoiding the things that will magnify behavioral problems is essential, because these patients can be at risk for hurting themselves or others.
Okay.
Because they really have lost their braking system that says, don't do this.
Right, right.
And increasing medications sometimes is in the wrong direction because it increases the fall risk. And when you fall and break a hip, that's a game-changing, life-changing event.
Yeah.
One third of people who break their hip die, 1/3 end up in a nursing home forever, and 1/3 go home, but they're never quite the same. So falls by just the fact that they're having brain issues, balance problems, magnified by medications, is one of the pitfalls of treating someone with a dementing illness.
So speaking of medications, I mean, there are those medications out there, and from what I recall from my past experience with those with dementia, was the Aricept, the Exelons, and I think there was
Namenda.
Namenda. Are they still the go-to drugs for this?
Yes, they are. But by the time we sometimes see a patient, the disease is pretty well established.
Okay.
And these medications may end up causing more side effects than they're worth, particularly GI. One of the ways that patients exit from this world with a dementing illness is malnutrition and protein loss. These medications may make that a little worse.
Okay.
And so, again, it falls under that less is more. But by the same token, Lisa, patients' families don't want to hear, there's not much we can do at this point.
Yeah.
So they're kind of throwing a Hail Mary, if you will.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's so much more we can talk about, and it's very difficult. I've seen it firsthand with families, as you do probably every day, being in geriatric medicine. Where could someone go for the resources aside from reaching out to you or their provider?
Right. Well, they should lean on their family a little bit and get them involved, because they're going to get involved one way or another, better early than later. They can go on the internet, but that's fraught with a lot of landmines there as well.
Sure.
And they're going to probably sell you a supplement you don't need. I would check with your healthcare provider, get a good history and physical, find out what you don't have, and more importantly, what you do that we can reverse.
Well, you heard it right there from Dr. Philip Benyo. If you or you know someone that is dealing with some memory loss, maybe it's time to get that good checkup and discover what you can do to help them or help yourself. Thank you for watching Wellness Wednesday, and thank you again, Dr. Benyo.
My pleasure.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Hello, I'm WYLN historian Chris Fulmer. Pennsylvania's communities are filled with interesting history. Come with me as we discover the people, events, industries, and other historic facets of local towns.
My name is Andy, and tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy.
A Path Through History is sponsored by the Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
The Susquehanna Valley became honeycombed with trolley lines at the turn of the 20th century. Two major lines serviced Sunbury during the trolley's peak, the Northumberland County Railway Company and the Sunbury and Selinsgrove Transit Company. Their tracks wound their way all through Sunbury, including around Cameron Park downtown. The fare for a ride was a nickel for many years, raised to 7 cents later on. Trolley service in Sunbury ended in 1939. The early 20th century saw a boom in amusement parks across the country, and the Sunbury area was fortunate to have two operate nearby during the boom. The first to open was the People's Playground, which was built as the final stop of the Sunbury and Selinsgrove trolley line in nearby Hummel's Wharf in 1908. Several years later, a contest was held to rename the park. The winning entry, sent by Mrs. Charles Kissinger of Lewistown, would be Rolling Green Park. Two roller coasters graced the park beginning in 1928, the Adult Skyline Twister and the Juvenile Junior Speedway. A Ferris wheel, bumper cars, tilt-a-whirl, motorboat rides, whip, and train ride were among the other attractions that entertained guests over the years. Rolling Green Park also featured a pool, dance hall, miniature golf course, softball field, and a theater which hosted celebrities such as Tommy Dorsey and Edgar Bergen over the years. Special events that took place in the park over the years include animal acts and motorcycle daredevils. Beginning in 1915, Rolling Green Park was the site of the annual Boatmen's Reunion of former area canal workers. Traditionally held on the last Saturday in August, the reunions continued at the park through 1956. The end of trolley service in 1934 was the beginning of the end for Rolling Green Park. Attendance dipped over the ensuing decades until the decision was made, after a last-minute deal to sell it fell through, to close the park after the 1971 season. Any hopes to reopen Rolling Green Park were dashed the following year when Hurricane Agnes flooded the property beyond repair. Today, a housing development stands on Rolling Green Park's former site. Part of it does still live on, however, as part of its dark ride was incorporated into Knoble's Haunted Mansion. Meanwhile, Island Park had first opened as a picnic grove on Packer Island in the Susquehanna. Its founder, James C. Packer, wanted to build as a direct competitor to Ira Clements' Clements Park near Selinsgrove. The parks essentially proved equal in the eyes of the public. Island Park originally shut down in 1914, but in 1923 it would be reopened as a traditional amusement park with rides. Its highlight would also be its roller coaster, the Island Flyer. Island Park would ultimately have a much shorter run than Rolling Green Park, closing after 11 years of operation in 1934. After the rides were removed, the site was used for concerts for some decades afterwards. Today, a campground operates on Island Park's location. In the early decades of the 20th century, after humanity first took to the skies, those who flew early airplanes were particularly seen as heroes. Among those who joined in the art of flight in its early years was Emery Mallock, who had been born in Northumberland County village of 7 Points in 1881, but had moved to Sunbury with his family when he was 6. There has been some discrepancy over Mallock's ethnicity, with some of his descendants proudly claiming him as the nation's first African-American pilot. Other sources, such as Mallock's death certificate and census records, hint he himself identified as a white man. Either way, in his younger years, Mallock was a carpenter, working with his father Darius on some projects, including the construction of Pennsylvania State Capitol building in 1906. He eventually became a farmer, and in his spare time began building his own airplane. He would make his first recorded flight in it over 7 Points on July 24, 1911. This would soon be followed by a flight over Shamokin on Labor Day 1911. Wanting to become more adept at the art of flight, Mallock enrolled in San Diego's Curtis Aviation School in January 1912. He would pass his flight exam 2 months later, with his instructor Glenn Curtis calling Malik one of the best flyers the schools have produced. And he was awarded his pilot's license by the Aero Club of America. By 1914, Malik began flying regularly. He made noted flights that year over Rolling Green Park in downtown Selinsgrove, and with flights still a novelty at the time, all of Selinsgrove's factories closed that day so the workers could see Malik's flight live. He thus has the honor of being the first person to fly in both Northumberland and Snyder counties. Malik also made flights in the Philadelphia area and in New Jersey at Camden's Crescent Airport. It was there on March 4, 1928, that his skill behind the stick would come in handy when his plane's engine died in midair with 2 passengers on board behind him. Malik was able to successfully bank the plane around while stalled and successfully land it without hitting any cars or onlookers below, with only minor injuries to his passengers. His luck would run out 2 months later, however, when he crashed at Woodbury, New Jersey. This time his passenger was killed and Malik suffered serious injuries, including to his vision, which resulted in the revocation of his pilot's license. He had logged nearly 3,000 hours of air travel by then. Emery Malik died in 1959 and today rests in Northumberland County's Wolf's Crossroads Cemetery. Others would soon follow Malik into the skies over Sunbury. Transcontinental air mail service had begun by 1920, and the stretch of skies between Sunbury and Bellefonte was disparagingly known as Hell's Stretch by pilots. Then in 1920, pilot E.M. Allison was forced to land on an island in the Susquehanna due to foggy weather. The farmer who owned the land told him that he was the second pilot to make an emergency landing there within the previous few weeks. Once word of this got out, the Department of Commerce determined the island would be the perfect site for an emergency landing field in the transcontinental route. It was located between 2 major stops in the line. Thus, Sunbury Airport was built in the island, and an aviation beacon was built on nearby Mile Hill to guide any pilots there. The most notable pilot to land at the airport was Amelia Earhart, who touched down September 16, 1929. The famed aviatress was flying from New York to Kansas City with her mother when a storm forced her to make a landing on the island. The Earharts waited at the Hotel Edison in Sunbury for the storm to clear, having lunch before continuing their way. By the 1910s, motion pictures had taken off as a major entertainment medium, and for those who went to the theater in Sunbury, they had the chance to see a familiar face on the screen at times. Rosetta Dewart Bryce was born in Sunbury in 1888, the granddaughter of former U.S. Representative William Lewis Dewart. Her family eventually moved to Washington, D.C., where she would begin acting under the stage name Betty Bryce. She greatly enjoyed performing even from a young age, so much so that she broke off an engagement to her original fiancé, Horace Hurlbut, when he refused to support her career. By 1913, Bryce decided she wanted to get into the new motion picture industry. While on tour in Philadelphia, she presented herself at that city's Lubin Film Company for an interview. She was promptly hired, and her first role would be in the Civil War drama The Price of Victory. From this very first film, Bryce got to show off the athleticism that would be her trademark, as the script called for the film's heroine to dive into a river, blow up a bridge, and die from the falling timbers. More roles soon followed, and soon Bryce had a film career going, for which you would remark, "I dare say I will never fail to feel that little thrill that comes when I see myself on the screen." When Lubin folded in 1916, Bryce and her second husband, director Jack Pratt, moved out to Hollywood to continue making films. Among her titles over the next decade would be Michael Strogoff, A Man's Making, The Gods of Fate, and Humility. Bryce's final screen appearance would be in 1924's Beau Brummel, after which she stepped away from acting for reasons not wholly clear to this day. She died of heart disease in 1935 at age 46.
My name is Andy, and tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.